Hello once again, everybody. Amadeus here with some more active contemplation. This one, not so much what I want to demonstrate, but what I want to show of what my opponent did, because I've never seen it before. So, first off, I'm down here as the red cartel. This was day one of me playing cartel, so still hadn't learned very much, but over here we got a blue US player, Boomer. And he goes for a rather interesting strategy that, more than anything, just caught me off guard. So, what he does is he goes pretty much all in on infantry, and it was something I wasn't expecting, and again, I'm still very new to cartel. I'm still new to cartel now, but I know a thing or two now that I could have countered this, but because I wasn't expecting it, it was pretty ridiculous. I'm gonna start fast forwarding here. I think this also was the very same match where I decided I was going to trying out heavy infantry on the cartel as well. But again, because I didn't know much of what was going on, I got outplayed. He even had his scout Humvee waiting for my guys that were going for the bank. He was a pretty sneaky gentleman. So he secured all three banks at the very start, and then deployed his economy, and then he just starts pumping out infantry and sending them across the map. I started deploying more barracks. I tried getting a vehicle bay. Still not 100% sure what I was doing, but he had so much infantry and I was not expecting it. I was not anticipating it in any way, shape, or form, and at this point I'm already starting to fall behind because he's got much more economy. He built up his refineries, he has the three banks, and he's just streaming units across the map. Fast forward a little bit more here. Now these right here, what I did start deploying is this artillery turret. If I had deployed more of them, probably could have dealt with it more easily, but because I was just caught off guard, it was so potent. And the US Marines, he was very intelligent, and he deployed a lot of those because I was trying to counter him with cartel infantry, and the US Marines are just a little bit tougher than the contractors. Pretty effective against contractors. And he was able to put pressure on my base and on my economy, and that's basically what sealed the deal. I doubled up on refineries, but all that means is that I was going to run out of resources faster if I couldn't expand. I was able to bring out these jackals, the mobile sniper jeeps, which are pretty awesome, I must say. But ultimately, it wasn't enough. He ends up doubling his production because he's got all of this, and he's got the banks, and he's just pouring out streams and streams of units across the map. I tried counterattacking. I was going to go this way. I wanted to try and counterattack and take the bank, but he already had units coming down and getting into these buildings, and what can I say? It was very powerful. Yeah, I mostly just want to share this because it's a very interesting tactic, and it's a perfect example of how when you come up with something unorthodox in a game like this, you can catch people off guard, and it really pays to experiment. That's exactly how this guy ended up winning. I was able to take a little bit of ground. I pushed back, but because he just dedicated himself to the infantry, I didn't think he was going to do that. At this point, when I started pushing him back, I figured, alright, well, now that I'm gaining some ground, maybe he'll start deploying vehicles, but no. No, he just doubled down, and he ends up taking my barracks, he ends up besieging, and then he also gets the javelin upgrade, which is absolutely what ruined me. Javelins get some pretty crazy range with those. And the nice thing, for those who haven't read the patch notes, is if you recognize previously, javelins would have to be ordered to fire if you wanted them to fire over a super long range once you have the upgrade for them. But now they've been upgraded so that most of the anti-tank missile guys will now fire at their maximum range without having to be told to. So that's nice. Okay, here you can see the Marines can outrange the contractors, so they get the first shots. The one advantage the contractors do have is, number one, the fact that they're cheaper, and number two, the contractors can engage while on the move, so that's another advantage. But to actually be more effective against Marines, you need to outnumber them. If you don't outnumber them, it's over. And here you've got the, these are the Amos artillery, twin-barreled mortars for the cartel, and they're pretty awesome. And they should have been what ended up winning me this, or at least helping me defend, but again, the javelins, since they had the upgraded range, as soon as he started getting javelins within range, he was able to counter my mortars pretty easily. They're still pretty cool to watch fire, though. I like how many shells they can get off. But yeah, had I had like another one of these, which is the cartel defensive artillery turret, I probably would have been able to hold them off better. But since I didn't deploy any more up here, that didn't help me. Either way, as you can see, he's got infantry all over the place coming at me constantly. I'm backed into a corner. I'm starting to run out of resources. Pretty much over. These artillery pieces, though, pretty awesome. But again, he gets javelins in range, and it doesn't take the javelins long to deal with them. Yep, there they go. There go the javelins. Sad, sad day. Fortunately, though, he did have to get a view on them, but...
Stealth enemy unit detected.
There it goes. Yeah, those were pretty much my last line of defense against infantry. And again, he already had the map control. He was swarming me. At this point, if I had deployed some sort of vehicle earlier, I might have been able to even the odds, but because I was caught so far off guard, at this point, he already had all the javelins and the map control, so anything that I tried to deploy out, javelins were going to rip apart. It was pretty much game over. Fast forward here. I don't remember if anything else fancy happens. I still love the Amos. I love how many shells it fires in a barrage. It's pretty awesome. It's not as scary as it looks, though. It's pretty darn effective against infantry. However, you think that looks freaky. The Amos features an upgrade that allows it to fire cluster munitions, which explode in the air and make a whole bunch of cluster explosions. And that looks terrifying, but again, it's really only effective in large groups. It's still a mortar. It's a fairly cheap unit, but the amount of shells they put out definitely makes them look pretty frightening. So there you go. Those of you who have followed me for a while now know that usually I'm the one winning with javelins, so this is me getting a taste of my own medicine. Getting beat down with the javelins. Look at that range. I just love that javelin range. It's fantastic. Obviously you have to spot for them. They can't just see that far and spot for themselves, but yeah. It doesn't show in the replay, but I was chatting with him. I was telling him how that was a pretty good tactic, and wasn't expecting it. And I did have barracks deployed over here, because Cartel do have the ability to deploy their barracks around the map, but it was over. But yeah, I just wanted to share this because it shows that when you experiment or try something unorthodox, it can pay off. Now, it doesn't mean go spam infantry and you'll win. What that means is, if you use unorthodox tactics at the right time against the appropriate enemy, an unprepared enemy, it will win you the game. Plain and simple. But the most important part is knowing your opponent and scouting. Scouting your enemy is one of the most important things. It's something I'm still not the greatest at, but that's what's going to help you make decisions. Anyways, hope you all found that entertaining. My name is Amadeus. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.